Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the next episode of the Frisco Report. Shout out to everybody that's joining us live in the chat box and things like that. Here we go.
This is serious.
How's it going, Mike?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Just scrolling through life. Scrolling through life.
Scrolling through live. Yeah, everybody. So we have a jam-packed show tonight. We have a lot of news to discuss, Mike. So what's on doc today? We're gonna talk. Obviously, we're gonna talk about the game here. We're gonna have some players stock going up, some going down, and things like that. And we'll finish it off by taking a quick preview of the Atlanta game coming up. All right, guys. So without further ado, let's get into the news of the day. All right.
Let's get into it.
All right, here we go. So this one comes from Dave Hellman. Jerry Jones confirms on 105.3 Fan what we already thought, which is that the Cowboys are more than likely going to address their injuries from within for week 2. All right, so we've sustained a couple of pretty significant injuries. Leighton Vander Esch with the clavicle, and Blake Jarwin with the ACL. So a lot of decisions here, and we're still dealing with La'el Collins being out, Mike. So a little bit of news there. Let's get into a little bit more here of some of the signings. All right, Mike. So taking a look at some of the news transactions of the day. One of them is this one here. This comes from Bobby Bell. So the Cowboys have signed Rashad M. Smith off the Bears practice squad. Apparently, the Cowboys is one of the places he wanted to go to, which is not surprising. A lot of players want to come here, right? So, another linebacker, Mike. So, what's your thoughts on adding this one? This one they're bringing him off the practice squad, so he's automatically going to be on the 53. So, he'll be there against the Falcons. What's your thoughts on this transaction here?
Yeah, the guy's young, 23. He has no NFL experience. From Florida Atlantic, 6'1", 220. I'm actually really surprised they didn't call up Francis Bernard. All right, they must see something in this guy. Maybe they missed out on trying to get him during the undrafted free agency part. But I don't know much about this guy here. But I think they should have gone with Francis Bernard here. Maybe figure something else out, but I'm really surprised they went with Rashad Smith.
Yeah, I'm surprised too. They brought him on. Francis Bernard's still on the practice squad, so yeah, kind of an interesting move there. I don't know much about him as well, but gonna have to trust in Will McClay, as they say. So let's see what this guy can give us.
Hey, last time they signed a couple of players, we wound up with a guy named David Irving, and it panned out till he became a knucklehead.
Yeah. So hopefully some of these guys will turn into something. Rob Phillips, a little bit more elaboration here. The Cowboys created 2 spots on the practice squad by releasing safety Luther Kirk and signing Brandon Carr to the 53. So they signed DB Stephen Parker and Rashad Robinson to fill the 2 spots. So interesting there, Mike. So Luther Kirk, there was some problems there that kept him practice squad, no longer with the team, not even on the practice squad capacity. So they're going with a little bit of a roster turn here, Mike. What's your thoughts on some of these little moves that they're doing here?
Signing Brandon Carr to the 53 isn't no surprise. I mean, the guy's a veteran. They brought him in here, signed him to the practice squad so he can get acclimated to that. The 3 injuries allows this to happen easily for him to get on the 53. And, players, we sign players off 53, off of practice squads onto our 53, and other teams are looking too. So this saves that veteran presence in Brandon Carr on bringing him onto the 53. Luther Kirk, they could bring him back somewhere along the line eventually if no one picks him up or if he decides to go to another team. I don't know much about Stephen Parker or Rashad Robinson.
Yeah, yeah. These are just low level guys, so it'll be interesting to see how they come out and contribute to the team. So some other news here that we have here, more roster churning, Mike. So this one comes from David Hellman a little bit more. The trio of LVE, Blake Jarwin, Cam Irvin are officially on IR. Okay, so Cam Irvin wasted. To me, Cameron Irvin, get out of here. This guy missed all of training camp and then hurt. It's just not good, man. Not good. So it's a little bit of something here that the Cowboys are gonna have to look at with the depth there at tackle. So let's see what we got there with those moves. Alex Light has been signed off Arizona's practice squad, and Rashad Smith. So that's another one, Mike. So Alex Light, they're bringing him on to the 53. So this is kind of interesting because to me, it's like, what do they think about some of the guys that they have on there? Like, what does this mean for a player like a Brandon Knight or, so a player of that stature? Because it seems like, they went with Terrence Steele over Brandon Knight and that kind of thing. So interesting to see what goes on there, Mike.
Yeah, Alex Light, don't know a lot about him either. I know he joined Green Bay Packers in 2018. So, he's been in the league a couple of years, 6'5", 309. Typical tackle body right there, very, very lengthy. Other than that, I don't know really much about the guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be one of these Will McClay specials, as they say, Mike. Stephen Parker, Rashad Robinson, we just talked about that. Those guys were added to the practice squad. So some new guys old, but we'll see. We'll see how they can contribute.
Alex Light played 16 career games, and 3 in 18 and 13 in 2019. So he does have a little bit of experience.
Okay. Good information there from Mike. Appreciate you on the elaboration there on that player there. Let's take a look at some more news here of the day. This is coming from Michael Gelkin. Cowboys linebacker Leighton Vander Esch underwent surgery this morning to repair the collarbone fracture he suffered Sunday versus the Rams. Procedure went well, source said. Positivity surrounds his recovery. Vander Esch to be activated from IR this season. So, what does that mean? Are they going to rush him back? I mean, a clavicle, we've seen clavicle injuries here before with the Cowboys. And Tony Romo, the biggest one. So the good thing here, Leighton Vander Esch is young. But, Mike, are we starting to get rumblings of Leighton Vander Esch being injury prone?
Joe, we talked about this all offseason. It sucks, when the Cowboys didn't have Justin March or Joe Thomas on there and they just had a couple of linebackers, I was like, this linebacker depth, injuries can happen. And, we got, that knee history with Jalen Smith, the neck with Vander Esch, and really no depth behind them. And now you're signing players off, linebackers off other teams' practice squads to fill these voids. And it's like, who are these guys? I don't know. It's very concerning. It's very alarming. Call it a freak accident, if you will, but the guy can't stay on the football field.
Yeah, no, it is what it is. It's facts. It is. He's getting a little getting dinged up. Another injury and kind of in the neck area. So you got the clavicle here, the neck, and here we go. So it should be no surprise that the Cowboys did look at linebackers during the draft. They looked at Patrick Queen out of LSU, Kenneth Murray out of Oklahoma. So they weren't looking at these guys for nothing. Okay, so
yeah,
it's possible that they wanted to just bolster this. They wanted to draft for the future if some of the guys got, picked apart before the Cowboys got to their pick. But, it is very interesting that the Cowboys were looking at linebackers, highly rated linebackers. All right, so. Yeah. And now here we are. We're thin. Now we're pretty much relying after 1 week. So mark linebacker as a draft need. Okay, because like you and I have talked about, Mike, a lot of these guys are on 1 year deals as it is. Joe Thomas, Justin March, Sean Lee. You got injury prone guys all over the place. They're going to have to make an investment here. Okay, and I don't think it's going to come through free agency. They got to add some more youth in here, somebody that can be a boss for them at linebacker. But yeah, man, I love Van Der Esch, but it's almost like we're going down the same path of Sean Lee. You love him when he's on the field, but he's not helping you if he's not on the field. And unfortunately, that's where we're at right now with LVE, man.
Yeah, and the guy's young. We knew he had neck, concerns coming out of Boise State, but man, this guy can't catch a break.
Yeah, can't catch a break for sure, man. Neither can the Cowboys. We're taking a beating there at linebacker, Mike. Some other news here as far as the roster, and then we'll get into some of the discussion here about the game here. Take a look at this. So, like I said, every Tuesday, teams around the league get to protect 4 players from their practice squad. Okay, Michael Gelkin has the latest update. Cowboys protected Francis Bernard, Rondell Carter, Deontay Burton, and Shaywo on the practice squad. That was last week. Off limits for this week, Francis Bernard, Rondell Carter, the tight end Cole Hikatini, and offensive tackle Eric Smith. So pretty interesting there, Mike. Looks like they're pretty high on Francis Bernard and Rondell Carter. Those are the 2 names that have been protected for a second consecutive week. What's your thoughts on that, Mike?
Yeah. Francis Bernard, maybe it's a learning curve. Maybe he needs to learn a little bit more special teams. That's probably why Rashad Smith, they signed him off there. Maybe they seen something on tape or film or whatever they got on Rashad Smith to feel comfortable with them playing special teams and filling that void there at the linebacker position on the 53. But Francis Bernard, it's a learning curve. And Rondell Carter, the defensive tackle, hopefully it's the same situation with him. We can get these guys in and really get something done. And Saywo, Alowina, I messed that one up.
Oh, you butchered that one, bro.
I said Ween instead of Lou. But yeah, they're protected players, and I really feel like there's some kind of development going on with these guys.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So Rondell Carter, they're listing him as a defensive tackle. So I wonder if this is somebody that they're going to hope that they can bring along and be your next Tyrone Crawford, because Rondell Carter can play on the outside defensive end, and looks like they're giving him some looks there at defense. So stash away and see if they can keep him. The interesting thing here, Cole Hikatini, the tight end, obviously the Cowboys, I think, need to protect themselves there because we're deep. We're thin there. All of a sudden, we're playing with backups again. Here we go again. So Dalton getting the reins there, Mike, thrusted into the lights. Indeed. All right, guys. Appreciate everybody out here that has joined us live in the chat box. Everybody that is watching live, we do appreciate you guys. So we're going to bit about the game here, about the matchup that we just finished here with the Falcons, and basically we're gonna break down some players here, whose stock is going up and whose stock is going down after this week 1. Okay, Mike. So I'm gonna give you my five players, and I have a mix of stock up, stock down, and then you give me yours. But for me, stock up, Aldon Smith is going to be one for me, Mike. I like the way that he looked after 5 years of not playing. Pretty much, he came out here and was pretty much, all over the place, physical at the point of attack. Getting in the backfield, busting up plays, putting pressure on the quarterback when given the opportunity. That the Rams, did a lot of strategic game planning here to offset our pass rush. They did a great job of it. Hats off to them, Mike. But stock up for Aldon Smith for me, Mike. What's your thoughts on Aldon Smith?
I had Alden Smith on mine. On stock went up. I mean, the guy looked. I mean, he looked heavier for sure. But I mean, there's talent, and then there's raw talent. And Alden Smith has that raw talent. I mean, you can get away from football, record a sack in your first game back, chase down younger linebackers like it are younger running back, excuse me, like it's nothing. It's a good thing. That's that raw talent.
Yeah, raw talent indeed. Just undeniable. The other player I have here, Mike, for stock up, I'm going with CD Lamb. I think he had a pretty good, productive evening there. 5 catches for I think like 59 yards. Was able to find these soft spots in the zone coverage and the speed. So he looks good out there. He looks like he's not really a rookie. You know what I mean? I think he was able to contribute right out the gate. So Michael Gallup stock up for me. Mike, what's your thoughts on Michael Gallup? I mean, not Michael Gallup. CD Lamb, excuse me.
CD Lamb. I did not have him here on this list. What did he have? Like 5 catches for 50-something yards. I think the stock remained the same for me. But I can see why you said that. I mean, he ran some crisp routes. He looked good. He got open for Dak on a few things. Ran a shallow 4th and 3 route. Kind of cut that in 2 more yards, rookie mistakes, things of that sort. But and I'm not dogging on 88 at all. But I'm just saying I think his stock kind of stayed the same for me.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair, obviously. My other player, and this is my last stock up player. The other 2 are stock down, and I'll get into that in a minute. But my next one is Trevon Diggs, guys. Trevon Diggs, stock up for him. We talked about this all off season training camp. Was he going to start? Was it going to be Darryl Worley? Was it going to be Anthony Brown? So, he showed out in training camp, stepped out there on the field. I think he did pretty good for the most part. He didn't win all the reps, but you saw the physical play. You saw him getting in the scrum, run support, being around the ball, physical. And honestly, that was not Byron Jones. Byron Jones was really good at covering the other side of the field. But as far as run support, it wasn't there. So Trevon Diggs, man, stock up for me. I like the way he looked, and I'm very excited on his future here, Mike.
Yeah, I like Trevon Diggs there. Unfortunately, I didn't have him on my list for stock up or stock down. I should have. Shame on me, right? That's a great call out there on number 27, 2nd round pick, Mr. Diggs. I like that.
Yeah. My 4th player, and these are my 2 stock down players. Stock down, Connor Williams. He didn't get it. He didn't get it done. And yeah, it was the wrecking machine that is Aaron Donald. But for me, you didn't see the strength improve. Still had some issues with the technique. He couldn't. I don't know. I mean, it's stock down after week 1. We'll see how he looks the rest of the year, and this is something that we're gonna do each week, guys. So we're gonna track these players as the season goes, and we'll see how they end up at the end of the year. But for right now, I don't know, man. Connor Williams didn't do it for me. Yeah, stock down for me, Mike. What's your thoughts on Connor Williams in week 1?
Oh, man. I mean, he was playing a 2-time NFL Defensive Player MVP, and Joe Looney had his hands full with him. Zach Martin didn't look good with him. I mean, there's a lot of players that don't look good against, a player like Aaron Donald. But I think it's fair. Maybe the expectation there was probably set too high, but I don't know. I think we're being too hard on Connor. I can remember maybe 2 to 3 plays where Aaron Donald really made him his, Connor Williams his little girl. But I don't know. I can see why you have that on your list though.
Yeah, for sure. And my final one, stock down, LVE. And we kind of talked about this earlier. Got dinged up. Injured again, man. Injured again early in the season now. So we're going to be without his services. I understand it's not his fault, but it's starting to be a concern there with the injury the injury prone tag it's rearing its ugly head, unfortunately. So after week 1, LVE, man.
I like that. I like that a lot. You ready for mine?
Yeah, let's hear Mike's here. Let's see what he's got.
I'll start with stock up players, and I did 5 stock ups and I did 5 stock downs, but I didn't realize 5 players either or. So I'll just pick a couple out of these. On my stock up, obviously it's Ezekiel Elliott. Guy stayed in shape. All these off-season shenanigans that he had in the past, coming into camp out of shape. I mean, the dude almost looked like Tony Pollard on a few plays. Especially the outside pass to Dak. He was determined to get in that end zone. He had the only 2 touchdowns of the game. Stock up for Ezekiel Elliott. A lot of media criticism on him, and I think he already proved his doubters wrong in week 1. Zeke got to stock up. What do you think on that?
No, I like it a lot, man. Ezekiel Elliott, for sure. I could see why, and I love how he looked. He looked like 2016. I tweeted that immediately. The first couple plays, I said, man, he looks fresh. He looks nimble. He looks determined. He didn't go out of bounds. He stayed in bounds, got more yardage. He fought for every yard, getting into the end zone both times. Dude, I mean, if he continues on this path, he's going to be the NFL leading rusher. I mean, he looked fantastic out there. So I love that one there, Mike.
Absolutely. My stock up, my second one, if you can make plays, you're in my book. Chidobe Awuzie. He got his stock up for me. Nice, aggressive, fighting for the football interception there. And that's something the Dallas Cowboy defense lacked. And to bring it in here week 1 and Cheeto getting that nice interception there, I thought it was nice, really nice. Cheeto stock up went up for me just for the simple fact of creating a turnover, Joe.
Yeah, for sure. You do have to give props to the turnover. We got the interception to start it off. So I loved it, man. I love that these guys are going after the ball. And Trayvon almost had one, a pop fly. I think it was like a bad tip pass, right? He almost got one. So I like that they're going after the ball. I think the one for Cheeto, that was a nice little pick there. Fell right in his lap, but he caught it. And, he didn't drop it. So that was good.
Stock down time now. Are you ready? Dalton Schultz. Stock went way down. Caught one pass for 11 yards. Dropped a couple of balls that hit him right in the mittens. You win tight end number 2. Your tight end number 1 is out for the season. You got to step in there, and you completely let the lights blind you. He's definitely not ready. His stock, to me, he deserves to be on the practice squad, for crying out loud. His stock went that down for me.
Yeah, those drop passes were critical, and they were easy for the most part. They were all catchable. So, yeah, I could definitely see where Dalton Schultz has stock down here for week 1. And he's gonna have to step it up like big time, like right now. He's gotta be the guy, and if not, the Cowboys are gonna have to make a move, and which really I don't want them to. Hopefully they can work this offense around, Mike, where they lose the production from Blake Jarwin, but maybe they shift it somewhere else. Maybe you get more looks from CeeDee Lamb, more looks from Tony Pollard. Something like that, So hopefully they'll figure out where to get the production. I think it's got to come from those 2 players, though. I don't think you're going to get production like that from Dalton Schultz or Blake Bell, for that matter.
Absolutely. My second stock went down. Dontarian Poe. Where was he? Was he on the field? This big 346-pound monster getting eat up on runs? Where was Dontarian Poe? This was a big splash for the Cowboys in quote-unquote free agency, and the guy was nowhere to be found, Joe. Stock went down.
Yeah, it's and the thing about Dontari Poe, it's like, for me, he runs hot and cold, and that's really what I thought about him coming to the Cowboys. I mentioned that in some of my breakdowns about him. He's hot and cold. You don't know what you're going to get. Next week, he might come out and play lights out. You know what I mean? And maybe he'll be on the stock up list for next week. So hopefully, because we need that to happen. but yeah, man, he got washed out a lot of times by single blocks. He did take on some double teams, but he did get beat on some single one-on-one matchups. So you don't want to see that. So the Rams' offensive line did a lot better than I thought that they were going to do, honestly, because they weren't good last year. It looks like they kind of turned the corner. I mean, at least against us, they look pretty sharp, man. They did their thing. They did their thing. But yeah, I agree with you on that too, Mike. Yeah, for sure.
My last one, the guy that just got a avoidable extension, DeMarcus Lawrence. There's Alden Smith. There's Everson Griffin. There's all these guys. Where is Mr. Moneybags? Where's Mr. Hot Boy? And I'm so glad I'm not even hearing that Hot Boy crap anymore. It's been a long time since I heard it come out of any Cowboys player's mouth, because DeMarcus Lawrence is an ice cold boy. He's a slushy from Sonic, all right? He's a snow cone on a hot summer's day. The guy is nowhere to be found. He's on a milk carton, Joe.
Yeah, it's obviously for him, I want to see some more games. But if we're here midway through the season and he's sitting at 3 sacks, 4 sacks, that's not going to be it. That's not going to get it done for the price tag. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to say I'm going to give him a pass, but we kind of saw this last season. Is it continuing to this season? Like, I don't, I want to see the production. I know he plays the run well and this and that, but you're getting paid to rush the quarterback too. And I understand the whole game plan was to get the ball out quick to cancel out our pass rush. But still, there were plays there where Goff was sitting in back there, with time, to dissect the defense, and they couldn't get to him. So, it's a little bit alarming to me. So we'll see. That's something that we're going to keep an eye on. Like I said, we're going to track these players as we go each week, and at the end, we're going to break it down with a beautiful graph of stock up, stock down, and it's going to help us. It's kind of a thing we're going to do here for analytics from the Frisco report from me and Mike. So we're going to track these players, stock up, stock down every week, and we're going to see where they land at the end of the year. So that's where we're at on that, Mike. Anything here on the game that really stood out for you, Mike? That the positives. Give me some positives from the game and some of the things that weren't too good for you in this game here.
There's really not a lot of positives when you lose. I'm not Mike McCarthy saying that we've done a lot of things right and some things wrong, because to me it seems like you did a lot of things wrong and some good things. That's how you lose football games, right?
Yeah.
I hate that terminology that they use. We did a lot of good things, but we got some stuff to clean up. No, you did a lot of bad things that you need to clean up. The offense, I swear, I thought Jason Garrett was still on this coaching staff. And we shouldn't be side-blighted by this, Joe. We heard reports coming out that the offense is really identical, just a few changes in verbiage and some new things. But what are the new things? How the tackle swings out, because there was nothing different about offense. And what sucks so bad is, yes, the defense held the Rams to 20 points. We talked about how explosive this offense is, and the only thing you can give me is 17 points. I mean, the game was so boring. I would have watched a black and white Western before I watched that game again. That's how boring that game was.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it was boring for me, but it was more disappointing than anything for me, Mike, because, the expectations and maybe as fans, all of us, beat writers, bloggers, everybody, I think it was a little bit overhyped. Now you readjust, kind of like you do a correction on the stock market. I think that's what we have to do here as fans. We have to do a little bit of a correction with this team. Do we have more bridge players than that you want on defense? You got Dontari Poe, you got Everson Griffin. These guys, these are more bridge players. They're not long-term future guys. So for me, when I take a step back, I'm looking at this defense. It feels like that that they're going to see what they can get with these guys and be more of a bridge player for people that they're going to draft in future years. I think what they want to do for McCarthy, I think eventually he does want to go full-blown 3-4. This whole thing about a hybrid defense, to me, it's about they don't quite have the personnel that they want to execute full-blown 3-4 or 4-3. So to me, that's where I see the defense right now until I see otherwise. And, maybe we'll see a more traditional offense where these guys can pin their ears back and sack the quarterback, at will. But, if I'm other teams in the league and I see how they beat us with the guys that supposedly are going to get to the quarterback, I'm going to draw a page out of the Rams playbook and do the same thing to the Cowboys. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And then that's what's concerning to me about in-game adjustments, because if the Rams have a good pass rush and the Rams knew the Cowboys had a good pass rush, they put this game plan together for quick throws, screens. Why didn't we try that how come we didn't have that kind of stuff in our back pocket? Don't try to be too flashy, because that's when and that's with anything, any job, anything you do. If you try to overdo something, something's gonna mess up. And that's exactly what I feel like the Cowboys offense was trying to be. They only scored 3 points in the second half. Like and people saying it's only one game. Mm-hmm. Hopefully they can build on this one game and start winning, because if you wind up 0-2, that's a big hole in the National Football League.
Yeah, and they break it down every year, and they'll talk about it in the game with the Falcons. You start at 0-2, your chances of getting to the big game, they drop significantly. So you definitely don't want to go 0-2. Definitely don't want to go 0-3. Because this thing can fall apart real quick around here, man. It just is what it is. The expectations are high, and perhaps we kind of, everybody kind of overhyped them. Obviously, not everybody did, but I mean, I think the average
majority.
fan, the majority. I think the average fan was like, man, we made all these moves. We got Everson Griffin, Alden Smith, if he can be back to that, and these draft picks and this and that, and here we are. We got punched in the mouth. We did. We left there with a bloody mouth and a bloody nose. So,
and our mouths to the floor in shock.
What was funny too? I was watching Jeff Kavanaugh's take on that, and he said, "What was with all the secrecy? If where was it? He made it was a great point, man. Kavanaugh said that. What was the deal with the secrecy with the scrimmage? We saw the same thing pretty much from last year. That where is it? Where are these secretive plays at? That you didn't want anybody to see. We didn't see them. I didn't see them, Mike.
The only thing I saw was an offensive line that got kicked around like, I don't know, like a soccer ball, dude. Like I seen a tight end, Dalton Schultz, drop passes. I seen defense that can't wrap up. And I would hide that too. If I knew my team couldn't catch balls and tackle, I would definitely give that a hide.
That could be it, because I mean that is something that we did here in camp, that the defense was putting a lot of pressure on Dak. If everybody remembers that, so this the backups very vulnerable. Going with Terrence Steele. Are they going to go with Terrence Steele again? I'm dreading it, because you got Ty McKinley over there. He's going to be all over him. So. And they made a great point in the broadcast. They overloaded one side to leave one-on-one with Terrence Steele, and like Aaron Donald or Brockers ate him alive, man. They ate him alive. So even with help there, with the tight end, it didn't help. So they're going to have to figure that thing out there, Mike. We need to come out of this 3-game stretch without Lyle Collins at least 2-1.
Yeah, and Shango made a good point the other day on his video. Was we like Jarwin because he was behind Jason, right? We like Jarwin simply for the fact that he was behind Jason, but who's behind Jarwin? It's very scary. It's very scary.
And he's got a blown out knee now. So now, when draft season does come here, tight end is going to be in the discussion, guys. It just is. Yeah, Jarwin did get a 3-year extension, but we all know that when you come back from some of these knee injuries, you're not quite the same. Is he going to lose some speed? Is he going to have the same cut ability? So for me, looking at this team right now early on, Mike, just doing a super early draft needs. I'm looking at linebacker. I'm looking at O-line. And I'm looking at safety. And tight end has got to be there at the bottom. Mike, let me know what you think about the offensive line configuration right now. Or how do you feel about Looney? How was his game for you?
You could tell, and again, there's no excuses, right? We got our butts kicked. You could tell that these guys haven't played football in a long time, and shout out to the Rams. They were way more prepared than the Cowboys were. The offensive line unit, Joe Looney getting back in there, really hasn't played right beside Connor Williams that much. Yes, he played well with, on the side of Zach Martin and stuff, and then Terrence Steele. He's trying to get his feet underneath him, never playing an NFL snap, and all of a sudden he's going against probably arguably top 5 defensive lines in the National Football League. And I really thought if this was tug of war, I would say the middle of the rope barely crossed the line for him. I thought he was clawing and scratching out there and fighting. Yeah, he lost some footing. He was leaning too much on some things. But for the most part, I thought he did okay. Aaron Donald, a lot of Dak sacks, the 3 sacks that he got, one just came from Terrence Steele's side. Two of them came from inside the middle of the line. So, he was holding some kind of ground there, like I said. But, repetition builds experience. Experience builds that knowledge, and you apply all that, and you can be a dang good tackle in the league. But the whole offensive line, I think Tyron Smith had a penalty there. I'd never seen Zach Martin get blown off the line like he did on that first sack. They need to start really working together. And I did say this, Joe. I want to see how they work with Joe Philbin because the offensive line didn't work great with Paul Alexander. They shipped them out of here. They got Mark Colombo, a nose hard guy. Like, this offensive line is very picky on who they work with, and I don't know. I don't know because this offensive line only is designated for one type of coaching, and maybe Joe Philbin isn't that type of coach that they need.
That's absolutely a great look at that because I was thinking the exact same thing, Mike, because, Paul Alexander, we saw the struggles, and they kind of got back on track when they inserted Colombo, right? So that's something that we're going to have to monitor here as far as Joe Philbin. Obviously he is teaching some different techniques and that kind of thing. So is it going to take a little bit of time for these guys to get acclimated to this new technique? Because, no preseason. These early games are pretty much where you're getting some of your preseason kind of work in, So, but you don't want to lose these games, man. And McCarthy said that, did they lose the game? To me, they lost it. They didn't get beat. The Cowboys let this game get away from them. They lost it, right? And that's one of the first things he said. So obviously it's early, but I'm not relaxing. I'm not that fan that's out there preaching relax. I'm not into that right now. We're going through talent like crazy, and we brought
there's
McCarthy
15 games left.
We got McCarthy in here for a reason. It's Super Bowl. We want Super Bowls. We don't want to come in here 9-7, 10-6, barely getting in again. I'm sick of that. So I'm not relaxing.
He said everything we're going to do is about winning. And then this week he said the honeymoon's over. It's time to win games. I think this week we're going to find out if McCarthy is all talk or if he's all coach. To me, yes, it's probably not fair, but to me it's very fair to question him with 2 games in, especially if they're 0-2.
Yeah, some of the things that we talked about, right? Like the in-game adjustments, it didn't happen. It really did feel like a Jason Garrett team out there. It really did. Special teams, I think, played better. That I think
way better.
Did look different. But offense and defense, that ain't gonna get it done. That ain't gonna cut it, man. That ain't gonna cut it.
No.
For me, Mike, the offensive line. I'll be interested to see when Tyler Biadasz gets into this, because this guy is significantly bigger than Joe Looney, and Joe Looney kind of got blown up on a couple plays here and there. I think at some point we're going to see Tyler Biadasz at center, and but that left guard position, if we see more of the same, and here's the scary thing about it: McGovern was deactivated for this game, so. What's going on with that? Is he not ready? Is he not any better than Connor Williams? If that's the case, they blew a 3rd-round pick. That's a high pick. I expect my 3rd-round pick to be active for the game, right? Not deactivated. We saw Tristan Hill deactivated a couple of games last season, right? Because
a lot of games.
Yeah, a big chunk of the season. And here's Connor McGovern deactivated, 3rd-round pick. Like, what's going on here?
It's alarming. It's alarming. That offensive line depth. We said it before this season. That's the make or break of this team.
It is. It really is. It can really set you back offensively, moving the ball. We talked about the 3-headed monster. We didn't see it. We didn't see that big production we thought they would. But, it's a different opponent every week, everybody. So, next week with Atlanta, let's transition to that game, Mike. We'll talk briefly on that, and then we'll get into your questions and comments, everybody. So hold tight, guys, and we'll get to your comments and questions here. But let's take a quick discussion here on this game here, Mike, with the Falcons coming up, Mike. So this is our home game. They're talking about whether there's going to be fans not there at this game, so that'll be interesting. The governor of Texas said that they can have up to 50%.
50%, 44K fans.
Yeah, so
44,000.
We'll see if that happens. The Chiefs, they had fans at their game, the season opener, but a lot of teams around the league, if you watched the round, they didn't have fans. So only a few states with governors where the outbreak is not as bad, or if maybe the governors just don't care. I don't know, but they're going to be fans there, so it's going to be interesting to see, Mike. But what's your thoughts on the game here?
Yeah, it's going to be a telltale sign for our defense again. You got Todd Gurley over there. Yeah, he only put up 56 yards last week, but I mean the guy can bite you like that, right? Matty Ice put up 450 passing yards. Julio Jones with 157 yards. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Deion Jones with their leading tackler with 9, that linebacker. I mean, that was just 56 yards for Todd Gurley on 14 attempts. So they really were throwing pretty pass happy there. But I think the defense is going to have their hands full here. Across the whole entire board, linebackers, everybody's going to have their hands full. And, this pass rush got to find a way to get to Matty Ice. He's gonna, he's gonna eat this team up with his arm, and it can get ugly just as fast as it did last week. I'm really looking for our cover corners to cover, and I'm looking for our offense to play up tempo. That drive to make it 14-13 last week, that was up tempo offense. It looked really methodical to me when they were going down the field. And maybe this offense needs some high tempo plays and make every play a 2-minute drill. Who cares? Go out there and go score. That's really what I'm looking for against the Atlanta Falcons.
I want to see more shots down the field. I feel that we didn't have enough shots down the field against the Rams, and it didn't. I think Gallup was doing pretty well against Ramsey, and the times he matched up against him, I think Ramsey got frustrated. That's why he did his little clamp, got away with his little flop. Gallup was beating that guy, man. But in this game, Mike, yeah, you're right. They're gonna have their hands full. Julio Jones is a monster. We saw Byron Jones go up against him a couple times over his career. I mean, he's gonna get his yards. Calvin Ridley, he's really good. Sanu, I think, is banged up, but they have another guy over there that's getting it done as well. He had like a whole lot of yards, I remember. So Do they have the personnel to execute the same game plan as the Rams? I think they do. They got Gurley. They got some other running backs in the mix. The defense will give up some points. They gave up 38 points to the Seahawks, right? So, if anything, hopefully, if this becomes some sort of shootout, we have enough to outshoot them. But they have weapons. They're going to take their shots down the field, and who's going to cover Julio Jones? Is it going to be Trayvon Diggs or Cheeto? This will be interesting to see how they game plan. Who's going to cover that guy?
And our offensive line, they could have problems too. Tack McKinley's over there. They racked up a few sacks, last week, and this team ain't nobody to joke with. If we take this team lightly, we're gonna get smacked in the mouth like we did against the Rams. They really got to start showing up and showing out because it can get ugly real quick, Joe.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. It's gonna be a barn burner. I have a feeling. Let's take a look at their depth chart. Let me pull it up here for you guys real quick. Let's take a look at the Falcons depth chart here real quick, guys. Let's see what we got. Let's see who's they got on offense and defense definitively.
Dante Fowler.
Yeah, so let's maximize that here so you guys can see a little bit. So on offense, we just talked about that. Julio Jones, Jake Matthews, Carpenter, not too bad. Alex Max. So pretty good offensive line. You know what I mean? I would say if not the same, maybe even a little better than the Rams. So Hayden Hurst, well, let's not forget about him, the free agent from the Ravens, right? So he's good after the catch. He can get open. Linebackers, if I'm them, I'm gonna attack the linebackers with Hayden Hurst. You know what I mean? We saw the Cowboys have some difficulties covering receivers with linebackers. That's going to be a little bit tough there. Russell Gage, that's the guy I was talking about. He pretty legitimate guy there. Had a pretty good day, fantasy points because he had a lot of yards. Todd Gurley, Brian Hill, Ito Smith.
Calvin Ridley got me a lot of fantasy points, Joe. A lot of fantasy points. We got to watch him too.
And here's the defense, right? So Tack McKinley, we just talked about. Grady Jarrett, he's pretty good in the middle, right? Grady Jarrett. So and let's not forget about Marlon Davidson, the rookie out of Auburn. He's pretty legit as well. Dante Fowler off the edge. Tyler Davison, John Kaminsky. Deion Jones, pretty good. Got some quickness there. AJ Terrell, the rookie. Let's go after this guy right here.
I liked him coming out of the draft, man.
Yeah, AJ Terrell. So that's going to be interesting. There's going to be some good matchups there. Isaiah Oliver, DeMonte Kazee, he's pretty good. Ricardo Allen and Canu Neal. So the defense on paper for these guys is pretty good, but
pretty good.
We saw what Russell Wilson did to them. He was able to carve them up, Mike, and McCarthy talked about, each week there's going to be a different game plan, right? And as far as how to attack and how to defend. So I'm interested to see, man, what their game plan is going to be. What is your take? If you're the Cowboys, how do you attack this defense?
You got to wear them out. You got to ground and pound with lightning and thunder, Zeke and Tony. Get that going. Those underneath routes that they were running where Dalton Schultz kind of picks the linebacker and the safety, and the slot runs underneath. I like those kind of plays, but if you keep running those, they're going to figure you out, and the play's going to be dead. You gotta pound them down. They're going to have to travel. Maybe there's some fatigue there. Maybe something's going on, but you got to pound them first with that rock, and then that will open things up and take advantage. I mean, I really believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Michael Gallup I really think this guy could be the best wide receiver on this football team, dude. I mean, the guy is just a beast, and you got to give it to him.
Yeah, I agree, man. I want to see more shots down the field. Gallup, Cooper, whatever. They got to open it up. They got to open up that playbook, and then with the rookie out there, you got to target the guy. That's what they're going to do to Trayvon Diggs. So let's pay it back to them. Pay it forward. You know what I mean? Which of these rookie cornerbacks is going to hold up better, AJ Terrell or Trayvon Diggs? It could be.
I'm going with house money. Trayvon Diggs.
I do too, man. I really love how he looks. He's got something to him. He does. So it's going to be a good matchup. It's going to be a good matchup. I'm looking forward to this game. They're going to have their hands full. You know, the last couple of years, the Falcons haven't looked good. For them, what I want to do is jump on these guys early and take away that self-esteem where they just crash and burn. You know what I mean? Some of these teams that are on the cusp where the coach is on the hot seat, like Dan Quinn, he's on the hot seat. They've had a couple of losing seasons. The GM over there, if they don't start winning, both those guys could be out. So Dan Quinn, this is one of those teams where if you can punch them in the face real early and jump on them, you might be able to get the knockout. So I'm hoping that's what the Cowboys do, man. That's what I would do.
I hope John Fossil Bones. I hope he gets a special teams play, whether it be a block, punt, field goal. You know, I like Tony Pollard. I like CD Lamb on those punt returns too. I thought they did some nice things on the punt and kickoff returns. I mean, I think one of them might break one on Sunday. I'm calling it right now. One of them is going to break a punt return touchdown.
That would be great, Mike. I hope it happens. If it does, you call it. I'll be happy, man. Let's get into some comments and questions, guys. Let's scroll through here and see what we got, everybody. Shout out to everybody. The Lunatic, see you in the chat box. Fifth Quarter Cowboys, good to see you online, brother. Thanks for the donation, man. Fifth Quarter Cowboys. Make sure you guys follow Fifth Quarter Cowboys, man. He'll give it to you exactly how he says it. Yeah, he's a great follower. I like him a lot, man. Fifth Quarter Cowboys. Let's see what else we got here in the comments. Questions and comments, guys. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Let's see what we got here. Looney got handled. Stop making excuses. Ain't nobody making excuses here, man. We talked about, when are we going to see Biadish? So let's see when that happens, man. Let's see when that happens. The Lunatic, Looney Seawell, and aluminum foil. They had bad games. That's funny, dude.
That is funny.
Bring back Columbo, PhD flop face. Yeah, let's see, man. That's gonna be one of the sub stories of the season, right, Mike? Because you made a great point about that. When they had Alexander in here, they didn't play good until they got rid of Alexander, and I don't know, man. I don't see them getting rid of Philbin, right? So, this might be one of those deals where they got to go with it until the end of the season, perhaps. I don't know. What do you think about that, Mike?
Well, you can't bring back Columbo because he's coaching the Giants offensive line.
Yeah.
I think, man, I don't know, dude, but this offensive line needs to find something. Maybe Joe Philbin needs to reinvent himself and look at what worked for this offensive line. Again, Joe Looney's, everything's different when you're missing number 72, Travis Frederick, right? There's a lot of things different. You didn't have La'el Collins there. Connor Williams coming off an ACL. But they got to figure this out, and they need to start figuring it out right now, because if this offensive line doesn't figure it out, Dak's going to get sacked 3 times a game.
Yeah, they have the defense to really get in his face. So it's gonna be a telling story here. Flop face. This hug technique isn't that good. Yeah, so that's the technique that Philbin teaches, where it's like a hug technique where they can get away with, like, it almost looks like a hold, but it's not. The Packers did it pretty effectively, but here with the Cowboys, Maybe it's going to take a season to get that technique down. But as it is right now, they didn't look so hot.
They didn't.
And, you are only as good as your weakest link. So Terrence Steele, horrendous game. Love or hate, PFF. I'm not a big fan of them, but they did rate him as what was it? Like the lowest, like he had a horrendous rating, whatever it was. It wasn't good.
What are we talking about?
Terrence Steele.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Let's see what else we got here in the comments. Appreciate it, guys. The Lunatic, Jerry said yes on fans, but not the exact number. I said around 30K. That's pretty respectable number if it is 30K, the Lunatic. So we'll see what they got going on there. Julio and Ridley are scary. Then throw in Gurley. We got to step it up. Hopefully for Gurley, his knee soreness starts acting up, and that'll get rid of him there. But I'm not going to count on it. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
they're going to have their hands full. This game isn't easy. And that 14-2 prediction ain't looking too good.
Well, I already lost on mine.
So
15-1.
Let's do some recorrections on that. We'll see how they look. Mike, let's go through some comments here, and then we'll talk a little bit about the NFC East here. Let's look what else we got here. We'll follow back up on that here in a second. Cheeto on Julio. Let's see what they do. The Lunatic. Let's see if that's the case. If they would have to probably travel Cheeto on Julio. I don't know if this defensive staff will travel the cornerback with their star player. We know that the previous administration didn't. They never let the guy travel. So we'll see. If not, it might be Trayvon Diggs. But wouldn't that be awesome if he does this thing and is able to really limit Julio Jones? That would be an amazing thing. Gonna have to bracket Julio. Easier said than done, but yeah, hopefully. Safeties, I don't know, man. They got to do their thing. They
just got to figure out a way to win.
Yeah. No, but that is going to be something they're going to have to do. They are going to have to bracket and do some things here that they didn't do so well in the last game. Let's see what else we got in here, guys.
And real quick, if you're watching this on a mobile device, there's a glitch with YouTube right now where it'll just cut in and out and look like it's buffering. If you move to like a laptop or play it on your PlayStation or something, you want to experience that. YouTube's working on that.
Yeah, great call on that. Appreciate everybody that's joined live. Make sure you guys hit like on this video. If you enjoy the content, the conversation, it does help out the channel immensely, guys. So hit like on that if you get the chance. Let's see what else we got here in the comments, guys. Thanks for everybody that's out here. Model 7. Diggs will get beat next week a few times, but he will compete hard and be successful. That's what I expect, right? It's going to be kind of like this week. He's not going to win all his reps, but I think he will win some of his reps. So it's going to be a good game, man. It's good that he's getting he's earning his bones, man. You know what I mean? So. There was a thought before everything got started that we might see Worley or Anthony Brown and he might sit and watch. But I like this. I like getting these rookies out there and get acclimated, and you find out what they're all about.
Let me ask you this: if they were passing the ball out quickly, why was our corners playing 7 yards off? Did you notice that? Am I the only one that noticed that?
No, that was they didn't do the adjustments, man. I did notice that, and then they gave him too much of a leash. The screens
Worley, because you brought up Worley and it made me think of that, because Worley didn't even look like he was even near the wide receiver, and bam, slant, and then they got yards, and I'm like, why are we playing so far off? Is Chris Richard over there? Jason Garrett still over there? Are they hiding under a face mask? What's going on here?
The game really did have a feel to it like that. I don't think anybody can deny that. The only thing that did look different, like we said, was special teams, but
That's
every,
it.
everything else. Great question, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate the donation. Shout out to you there. Let's see what else we got in here. The Lunatic. Slow start again. Almost down 10-0, but for a missed field goal. Do you think we need to go more up-tempo to start the game? Absolutely. I don't know why they don't do more up tempo. They're really good at executing it. Dak runs it really well. He runs the 2-minute drill really well, the up tempo really well. What's your thoughts on that, Mike?
Although being down 10-0, and then you bring it back 14-13, going into the half, and you just score 3 points. They gotta find balance, right? Our defense held them to 7 points. The second half, we only scored 3. We could blame defense all day long, but they can't put up points on the board unless they get a pick six, which is very hard unless Tom Brady's throwing to you apparently. But that was funny. But yeah, this offense has to find a way to score points. You hold them to 7 points, you come up in your lead. You only score 3, they score 7. Something has to change on this offense. Mike McCarthy, it's time for you to start calling the plays.
Yeah, I want to see something a little bit different. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that I mentioned was we didn't have any preseason to show these guys any film. Yet these guys were so prepared. It felt like we were running the same plays, and they knew how to defend it. I don't think there was enough of McCarthy's thumbprint on the offensive game planning. They might have to inject some different stuff because that didn't get it done. It didn't get it done, guys. Michael Beers, do you think they start Knight instead of Steele this time? I don't know. You know, I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe it's more of he wants to start his guys. You know, Terrence Steele is a McCarthy guy now. Brandon Knight comes from the previous regime. There's no allegiance there. Maybe they don't see the same thing as far as talent. You know, the previous administration was high on Adam Redmond. They cut him like nothing. Brandon Knight. So I don't know, man. I would hope so, but McCarthy and these guys said that he earned it, that he beat out Cam Irving, which to me isn't really saying much because Cam Irving's garbage. I've been saying
Didn't Cam Irving miss a lot of time anyway? So how can you beat somebody that missed a lot of time in training camp anyway?
That too, and here he's hurt again. I did not like that signing whatsoever. It's a complete waste. He's on IR. Leave him out there. Let's just bring in somebody else. But yeah, I was really surprised that they stuck with it through the whole game. You know, I didn't think that they were going to do another Chaz Green thing, and he didn't play as bad as Chaz Green, not even close.
Not even close.
But still, you know, I thought that maybe at halftime, maybe they would, you know, take another look. But we were so thin there. I don't think we had the personnel to put somebody out there. So,
and I give props to Dak because Dak really helped Terrence Steele out a lot, stepping up and around in the pocket. Because I mean, Dak likes to flow to his right a lot, and he knew Terrence Steele was there, and he kind of cut in between the D tackles and stuff, and kind of went through them, so to speak. So shout out to Dak. I mean, he helped Terrence Steele out a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point.
Let's talk about the NFC East.
Yeah, let's hit that up, Mike. Let's hit that up. So NFC East. So everybody lost except Washington, right? So Washington's 1-0. Everybody else lost. But what is your take here on the first week, NFC East? Who's looking bad? Who's looking like they might be trouble, Mike?
The Eagles. They lost a few offensive line pieces again. They're very thin there. And, I mean, Carson Wentz, what did he get, sacked 8 times? My God. And yeah, very, very good stuff there, right? And, you know, the football team, Washington, they, you know, I said, yeah, they might have their front office shenanigans going on over there. But I don't think these players are paying any attention to that yet. Their coach had just got diagnosed with cancer. They're going to play hard and they're going to play tough for Ron Rivera. You know what I mean? And that's just the respect that you give to a coach like that, right? And I don't think this was a fluke by the Washington football team at all. And they might 9-7, 8-8 is where I'm thinking they'll go. And the Giants, Jason Garrett over there doing what Jason Garrett does, allowing his running back to get 6 yards on 14 attempts, I believe it was. I mean, Saquon Barkley, he ran to the bathroom because I'm sure he crapped himself seeing the Steelers defensive line. And 6 yards over there, they got offensive line woes too. But that's pretty much the NFC East. I really and I was on a channel as a special guest a couple of weeks ago before the season started, and I said, watch out for the football team because they got some talent over there.
Yeah, they do. They have maybe the best defensive line in the division. They drafted a lot of Alabama boys there, Deron Payne, and a lot of these guys. Kerrigan's a great player. I think maybe the secondary may not be the best, but no, that front is pretty legit. So
you have a good front, you can have an okay secondary. It's going to help you.
And to my surprise, Haskin turned it around after a slow start. I was like, okay, this guy, he's not the answer, but he was able to do his thing. So
Redskins, he got Alex Smith breathing down his neck.
I think they'll be in the mix. Giants, I think they'll be better. But I think the seller, the team that's going to be in the cellar is going to be the Eagles to me. I've been saying it all offseason. I think those guys have checked out of the program. Too many injuries. How do you choke it up like that? You're up 17-0, and these guys got 27, 30 points unanswered. That's crazy, man. That's pretty demoralizing.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's gonna be a fun division, man. I don't think it's gonna be a runaway by any means. Just on
it never is. It never is. The NFC East hasn't had a consecutive winner since 2003.
Yeah, that's true. Did the secondary play sell your nerves, or are you still worried? I wouldn't say I'm worried, but I'm still cautious. All right, because I'm not sold on the safety position for this team. Darian Thompson, I think he had an okay game. Xavier Woods, okay. I just think that the safeties are okay on this team. They need to get better there. They really need to address that. You know what I mean? And Earl is still sitting out there, but like I said, if you're going to sign him, it was probably going to happen this week. And if they don't sign him this week, it's not going to happen. So
I'm not for the ET thing simply for the fact that it ain't the secondary. Because Darian Thompson led this team in solo tackles with 11. That's your last line of defense, and he's leading your team in solo tackles. Gerald McCoy went down. They called up Tristan Hill. He made a couple of good plays out of 60, right? But I think if we're going to go for a big splash in a trade or a signing, we got to figure out a way to get Snacks Harris here. We got to figure out a way to make a trade for somebody to fill this defensive line because our edge rushers, they can edge rush all day long, but you could eat us up in the middle all day long too. And I don't think ET's going to fix that. He can't play the 3. He can't play the 1. You know what I'm saying? Darian Thompson led this team in tackles, and that starts with your front 7.
Yeah, I agree. The middle of that defense would be where I would continue to add some bolster. Antoine Woods is in it. Dontari Poe, like I said, he runs hot and cold. You don't know what you're going to get in him in the game. And for this game, he was cold. Hopefully, the next one he's good, but he's not consistent. That's Dontari Poe's profile, hot and cold. That's just what he's been his entire career here with the league. You know what I mean? So you get what you pay for.
That's true.
Let's see what else we got here, guys. I think that's gonna be good to wrap it up, guys. We went a good hour here. The Lunatic, appreciate the nation Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you.
Yes, thank you for everybody. Yeah.
Everybody in here, man. We can't do this without you. Yeah, so the buffering, that was like on the mobile phone, like Mike said. So if you're catching this on the replay, hopefully
it won't be there.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be fine for you. So do appreciate all you guys. Thanks for checking out the channel. Mike, how can everybody find you if they haven't already?
Yeah, go on Twitter at _ Cowboys Corner. Joe has it right there. How do you do this? Right there. Follow that right there. My YouTube link's right on it. If you have a problem searching Cowboys Corner on YouTube, go to thefriscoreport.com. That's thefriscoreport.com. Joe has the link on there too. Subscribe, guys. 3,000 is knocking on the door, and I want to answer it. So that's all I got, Joe. Thank you for another great show. The Frisco Report, baby. Let's go.
That's where we're at, guys. Week 1 in the books for the Frisco Report. We'll be back next Tuesday, and hopefully we'll be sitting here at 1-1, guys. So check back on Tuesday. For my channel, I'll have another video coming out tomorrow. It's going to be a great one for you guys. I think you guys are going to enjoy that one, and more the rest of the week. But that's all we have right now, guys. Shout out to everybody, all my members, everybody. Peace, everybody.
Peace.